Hey, what's going on, Art 9 students? Holy smoke. So today is the critique of the coffee mug and tool. So without further ado, let's get to it. Oh, before I forget really quick, just one more reminder of the virtual field trip that is going to be at 11 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I get, wait, what's today, Tuesday? Anyway, the 11th, what day is that? Gosh, I'm so out of it. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, so I'm sorry, on Thursday, the 11th. There we go. On Thursday. Yeah, my ADD showing, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, on the 11th, okay, that's going to be at 11 o'clock. It will either be Bernini or the Vatican. Either way, that's worth 20 points to you guys if you choose to participate, and let me know that you want to participate and show up. If you ask a question, that's an extra 10 points. Okay, so consider that. So both are at 11 o'clock. This one is on Thursday. The next one's going to be next Thursday. And like I said, 11 o'clock. I will also have an alternative video for you to watch that will have something to do with Italy or their contributions to the art world, which are many for sure. Food too. Don't you guys love pasta? I gotta stop. Okay, anyway, so there's that. Okay, now here's the thing. I haven't seen these yet. So hopefully, everybody did a good job, okay? Because I don't filter. It's like, because you know what? That's how critique is, right? We have everything up on the board, and you guys see my reaction. I'm reacting right when you guys do. So, so this is you'll see my reaction for sure. So I'm hoping it's going to be awesome. You guys kick butt on those sisters. I hope you watched that critique video on the sisters. You guys killed it. All right, here we go. Looking at these wonderful things. Let's see. Where is it? There it is. And we share. Okay. All right. Who do we got here? We have Madison. Let's turn this the right way. Okay. Well, look at, they're a nice pair, aren't they? All right. So we have a screwdriver here, and we have this mug here, and how interesting the color combinations. That's a cool thing. That's tying them together. What else is tying them together? Well, this cast shadow, this very strong, hard edge cast shadow is also tying them together. So, pretty good job on your lips there. This is a tough part right here. I think it maybe got a little too pursed, on the edges. But however, I can tell you really took the time. You have consistency in your paint mixture. It's going all throughout, the background there. Your kind of purple kind of rendition here is really nice too, kind of toned down, sort of neutralized. And I can see that you took some time here to explore the those gradations as we turn around in that cylinder shape. So I see that some of these strokes here, you have them and you're kind of doing this direction, but just in the future, I'm just saying, maybe think about turning that brush so you actually can get more of a curve this way. You see what I'm saying? That really you apply your paint strokes there, and then as you turn, you literally turn in that shape that goes around the cylinder. But you already did that to a certain extent. I'm just encouraging you to maybe strengthen that curve, those curved strokes, especially as we move on and we go to landscape where it's all about that texture. But definitely I can see you're looking. The other thing I want to point out is maybe on this bottom portion, we maybe kind of curved it up a bit. But that was pretty good. All right, and also the other thing I'm noticing here is this is a little, there's something how this connects, and this is toughie, dear. So how usually when you do it is you'll take a line, a straight edge, right? Your ruler, and you'll make, and I can't even hardly, I'm using my mouse here, but you make a straight line with your pencil all the way up to the tip of that thing, right? And of course, this line is very, very thick. Hold on, let me do that. Okay, so anyway, you go in the middle of it, and that way you can ensure that as long as you keep that guide up the middle like that each side will be symmetrical, right? So I think, and you probably already know this, I'm guessing. So wait, let me erase all this, my bad. Okay, so right here, there's a moment here where it almost feels like the screwdriver and the handle is breaking because it's slightly off. So, I think probably if we were to follow this line straight here, then we would probably have ended up a little more closer to, a little bit further down. You see what I'm saying? To make that line and make it make sense. Okay, so that's a challenge though. See, that's why I have you guys do the tools, so you learned a lot. I think that little screwdriver taught you a lot, but you did a really good job. I like little moments like this where you recognize you need to put this little piece here to kind of curve that up. I definitely see the sensitivity even over here, how it gets light. We see reflected light, and then we also see it turn a little bit more and we got back into that darker light. So I definitely can see that you're paying attention to details, and you're really pushing it and trying very hard. So A quality work for you, Miss Beck. Congratulations. There's a nice little couple. Here we go with Mr. Briggs. Mr. Briggs, do you elongate everything, sir? Am I going to meet you someday and you're going to be like this long fellow, you know? Very cool. Look how dynamic this is, you guys. Sir, you have a very unique, your color palette is very unique, and your compositions are very unique. This is just wild. I look at this and I think, is this been elongated on the computer or something? I don't know. It's very strange, but I got to tell you, I really like it. You've got some interesting, whenever I look at your work, so it kind of reminds me of Rauschenberg and, those expressionist painters, de Kooning and Motherwell, and just, you have this like paint application that's very, very, luscious at some point. And this is my favorite part right here. I'm gonna tell you, ooh, this is a tough wrench right here. This right here, ooh, that's a nice moment right here between these two where this little thing intersects, that little bump there. And look at me, this is an aggressive shape right here. That is super nice. Like I am totally digging that, liking it, etc. Yeah, you got some interesting things going on here. So even, some of this stuff doesn't quite make sense. I'm like, how can this be, if this is the background, right? This blue color and this blue color, and then we see it back up here, this blue color, and to a lesser extent right here. But it's like, I'm thinking, if that's how do we have these just splotches of color, so that's either something that's on the wall or something that you're taking artistic license and you're just doing it because it feels right, or whatever the reason is. But it's really interesting because you're saying you're being true to the shadow, the cast shadow of this and it's beautiful too. Look how tight this is, you guys. That is beautiful. That is accurate. And then when he gets up here, we have this like kind of impasto moment that kind of goes on top of the handle, and it brings the handle and the wall together, right? So very, very interesting. He's got kind of muted points, but he does like a sharp edge. If you're not sure about that, take a look here. Woo, that's sharp, 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 sharp. Ooh, and look at this one too. You know what? This might be my favorite moment. Let me show you. Okay, right here, right along here. Ooh, right there. Ooh, and was that a palette knife? I don't know. That's tough right there. Boy, that feels so good when you hit that highlight like that. Congratulations, Mr. Briggs. A for you. Very good. Wow. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Melissa, wow. It's like apocalyptic. It reminds me of the Terminator or like something. It's like, they've walked in the desert and here you have the last bit of my water. No, we'll share it. Okay. And then all of a sudden they just both expired at the same time. And one of my favorite moments right here is right here. Woo. Okay. So that's when you have background, something in the foreground, and that's going back in space, and included this. Boy, that is sharp. That is like, is there any doubt where the focal point is? Absolutely not. Leads us in, we come in here and we arrive, through this wrench coming up from the left, and then we kind of travel here. So very cool. This has so much character. I really like it. A for you, Miss Blanco. Good job. Very cool. That was very, very cool. Those colors. Okay, see, so we go to this like, desert, sad, what was that, the English Patient, something like that. And now we're nice in the garden, with a little, whatever that is, a little hand hoe or whatever. Oh my goodness, look at this. This has a very British, you know what I mean? It's like I'm just looking for the clogs. Where's the garden clogs at? You know what I mean? Like it's a sunny day. You see, this is what people do, you guys. When you do a painting, people create a story, man. And I'm creating this whole story. You know what I mean? What up with those royals, huh? What is wrong with the royals, man? What is going on? Asking what's her name about how dark her baby's going to be. Anyway, that's crazy. All right. So let's talk about these excellent moments. Okay. One of them, my favorite. Oop, wait, got to get out of the green because you can't see. Okay. I'm going to go with the red. Okay. So up here, right here, all this green. Okay. So this shape here, super. That was a smart move right there, right? This shape right here, already giving you dynamism in your composition. This bottom portion right here, all black behind it. This one up here, all green. So you get that fresh garden, feeling, whatever. And this maybe perhaps is the edge of the porch or a table or whatever. So anyway, there's some nice, really fresh impasto going on here, Miss Doyle. Very, very good. I love that. Love this. And this feels very proper. The only thing I'm wondering is I don't know, something down here. See, that's a tough moment right there. That's just one of those kind of things where maybe you take your little hand home thing and you try different locations, or maybe just have it, but you overlap, and that's what I like about it. You are really great at that, Ms. Doyle. You think about your compositions. And it just so happens, I think, that this right here is your focal point. But still, it is a good thing to remember that even those moments, just making sure that they make sense down here. So it's a tough one. This is a very tough thing. It's kind of like with the screwdriver we had before. So in this, example here, what you probably want to do is just find that midline. You see what I'm saying? And then from that, you can better figure out, what's going on either side. So it's something, it feels a little off here, but don't worry, you're in A territory. Don't worry about that. This is a very successful painting. And, these moments where you have these sweeping overlap, that shape, this beautiful curve, this beautiful handle. You got 3 curves in here. This is like 1, 2, 3, right? So all these things you got flowing in your composition, the shadow shape, even all this stuff is very, very nice. Even where this lands on the bottom, like this little moment here becomes precious, so very good job. You got beautiful texture. You're getting nice and impasto in here. You're communicating an overall feeling. This is a very optimistic kind of thing. Enjoying a Sunday morning, that's what this is. So excellent job. A for you, Miss Doyle. Very, very good. Let me go ahead and get all this off here before I leave. Clean up your mess, Professor. I know. I'm cleaning it. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a lot of character. Who we have here? Ariana. Oh, that's funny. Cactus makes perfect. That's funny. That's cute. Wow. This has so much character, dear. Okay. Look at this. You were getting kind of expressive, dear. Look at your strokes here. We got these major, bold strokes. I could see them. Like you went, look at this. All this, cutting in there, cutting in there. Boom, I can see this one ending here. Boom, like these are long strokes. They're right there, long, long, long. Yeah, very nice. And you know what? Ariana she understands about shading, you know what I mean? About blending and blending colors together. Because check out this, look at this hard edge right here. Okay, and then she's gone back in here and she just takes her brush and she knows how to create that smoothness, you know what I mean? She's creating that cast shadow that this blade or, the little knife is having here. That was a nice moment. She went softer down here. Right. And then she took, oh my goodness, dear. Now, this is a tough one. And you know what? You almost made it, honey. Like right here, coming down. I'm believing that. I'm believing that. I'm believing that. We need to rise up, rise up, rise up. We didn't quite rise up. You see what I'm saying? This T kept going straight when it should have rised up a little bit, honey. But anyway, nice girl. I always tell you guys, stay away from typography. And boy, you really went for it. Now, the only thing, and I was going to say, if we could have had this be a little bit more diffuse, this line here, that might have been kind of nice, you know what I mean? Just to push this all forward a little bit more to make sure that this hard edge, probably right here's the focal point, I'm guessing. I don't know. It's probably, let me get rid of all this. It's probably a toss between, I don't know, this is a pretty darn sharp moment, right? I think that might be the focal point. But this is a very sweet thing. And the way, I know that you can see like these little moments right here and this bows out a little bit. And, you where you put your brush up against here and then, you picked up some of that black right here. But you do have a kind of, you lean towards the impressionistic here, which is a really cool thing. So this has a lot of character and I really like it. And I do like, even these subtle things for all of her, flourishes with the brush and kind of whimsical and like, yeah, not so concerned. She does do little things like this where she went back in here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's zoom in a little bit. And then, I don't know if she just got lucky and had a little bit of white on her brush, but just even turning this little, like kind of buffering that edge there. And then you see the difference between there and where it gets nice and dark way up here up near the top of the handle. So little things like that people notice, dear, especially Professor C. All right, I'm digging it. A for you. Good job. Character. Wow. Myra. Ooh, this is crazy. Wow, this is so cool. Oh my goodness. What do you guys think of that? Boy, that is tough with a capital T. Look at that blue. Holy smokes, that's beautiful. Look, it's like, and you guys know why, right? It's because she's got all this brown, okay? Brown in here. Hold on, let me get my little thing here. So this is like, it's a dark, rusty brown, but that's related to what? This color right here, orange. Essentially, it's just, so all in here and even all in here. This is all orange too. So she kind of, and that's why all that orange is supporting this blue, okay? Even if it's a rust brown or, mocha or any of those chocolate, all those colors. That's why like chocolate and those neutral earth tones go so good with the primaries, like yellow, like red, like blue. That's why you always see them in like vintage stuff, because they pop. So this is awesome. I mean, and she has like, what's funny too, is she got a really hard edge on here, but I'm accepting it because these shadow shapes, these are probably some of the best, just in terms of shapes. You guys check it out. Let's just travel around, shall we? We got this closed shape here. We've got this closed in shape here, which is really, really interesting. You know, we got little hard edges here, and but you know what? It's almost like when you really think about it, the shadow shapes are almost in terms of how much space it's taking up, right? On the composition, it's almost half, right? So really nice. I mean, if she were to choose to have done this in a color that wasn't as vibrant and impactful, then it would have been competing with the shadow shapes, and it would have caused a problem. But this one, it's almost as strong as those shadow shapes are. That blue is so powerful. It's just like sucks your eye right there. Woo, honey, this is tough. This is like, I loved your other stuff too, but this is like, I hope you're happy with this one. The only criticism I would say is maybe go back in here, and you might take some of this yellow ochre, and you may go back in and kind of try to, you know, because I'm believing this right here, but we went awry, you know, when he brought up that brown down a little bit too much. So just go in there and like kind of, you know what I mean? Just make it so that line makes sense. So this is a cohesive line. You see what I'm saying? So just clean that up a little bit. And you can do that simply by taking the yellow ochre and raising it up. And I don't think it would hurt at all to raise it up even a little bit more, you know, on this side as well, right? So that way you're being consistent on this side here as well as this side. So just taking the yellow perhaps and just very gently, you know what I mean? Kind of with your brush, with a clean brush, just fade it out. You know what I mean? But just make sure it's consistent. First thing you do is you just get a ruler. This is probably dry by now, I'm guessing. So you get a ruler and you make that line, right? Your line is going at an angle, right? It's not straight. It's going at a slight angle, which I think adds to the dynamism, which is great. So keep that. But we're, you know, I'm just saying correct this right here a little bit, okay? So hopefully you know what I'm getting at. But anyway, you're in the A land right now as it is, dear. That's beautiful. I hope you hang this up. Let's see what she says. I'm sorry. She says, hello, Professor C. I cropped, but the easel is still visible. I tried to crop it more, but then it looked weird. So I just left it like that. Hope that's okay with you, Professor C. Honey, you do stuff like this, it's okay with me from here until Christmas, okay? Beautiful. You got an A, honey. Obviously, I'm not too upset about what you did. Keep it up. Loving it. Okay, let's go on to Miss Morales. Oh, you guys are killing it on this one too. Oh, isn't this one fun? Okay, all right, Miss Morales. I do sense a little joy here, dear. This is kind of joyful for you. I think you might be, you know, getting leaps and bounds here and getting better. Oh, see, that good girl. She drew it out. Okay, great. Okay, so there we got okay, so we got the spoon and the cup and beautiful composition. This is very nice, you know. Ooh, see, and I already forgot what the painting looked like, but I'm just looking at this and I'm going, okay, so what if I were to see this first, what I would expect, like, hey, this is the lightest light. Okay, out of this whole scenario. It's either this one or this one. And actually online, it might be the smaller one. Let me see if I can tell. Yeah, because the shadows over here, that's a toss-up. Could be one or the other. So in the painting version, I would expect that either this highlight or this highlight is the strongest highlight, and everything else has to go down in value, right? Can't be as light as that. So we got a pure white. Now let's look in here and see, just based off her reference, where the darkest dark is. Now probably it's way up here. Okay, but that's not, I'm talking about within the subject matter here. So I'm guessing the darkest dark is, to my eye, it's about, I see it right here. That's within this realm over here, okay? That's gonna be the darkest dark. So we have a really soft shadow. You know, this is a nice moment right here too. Look at all these cast shadows. That one, the spoon is casting down into the bowl here. There's a cast shadow here from the edge of the spoon. So that's really nice. Okay, so now that we've really looked at this, let's go back and look at her, the painting. It's so funny. Although you were so funny, dear. Like, I'm thinking, I don't know where these donuts came from, but here's what I have to say about that. It's time for Krispy Kreme. Do you guys have I think there's not one out too many. I think it's just one, right? In Fresno. So anyway, that's funny. Okay, dear. This is funny because this almost looks like a little alien guy. Look, can you see the eyes? And then like that's the top of his head, and like this is his mouth that might be open or disappeared or something. I'm not sure, but you know, you can't blame me, dude. You got a kooky kind of fun. I mean, this is very fun, right? Like this is kind of, you know, naive in the way that it's done. But the thing about it is, Miss Morales, at least I'm starting to feel some joy from you, dear. I don't know, like the last one you did good, and hopefully you're riding off of that. And that's what I was hoping for, that you'd really go for it here. So I'm feeling that you're getting more comfortable with the paint. that you're starting to have a little fun, and I am so excited about that. But I love it how you just kind of, she's so expressionistic, kind of like a man that elongates everything, right? Like just, just like, oh, I like these dots. I think I'll add them all over. Boop, 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 just add in red dots, because it does feel kind of celebratory. But anyway, I don't know about these donuts. I like them on their own. I'm just not sure how, how they work, because they don't have a shadow. You know what I mean? Like, you see how you have a shadow on these? So these have no shadow, right? So if they were sitting on the table further behind the cup, then we would expect to see shadow shapes behind them as we see shadow here on this, right? So that's saying that this is all happening at one time with the same light source in the same space, and then it builds cohesion. If you have two different light sources, or something that's flat and something that does have a certain light source, then those things compete. You know what I mean? So, and which you could want that sometimes in a composition, I don't know. But this kind of, it seems like you're leaning on the fun end on this one, which is okay. I did say try to make it, realistic. And so remember those items I said about, the highlight that was here and then the highlight that was there. And I'm trying to think, the cast shadows from the handle that should be going down into there. There was some cast shadow. Oh, you did get this one. You got this cast shadow moment. Okay, that's good. We are missing a shadow shape here because it's going underneath, right? So there are technical things here, dear, that you didn't quite get. And there would be nothing wrong with you, kind of revisiting this or doing a separate one, maybe, and if you want to keep your donuts in there, and it's like, I invited the donuts, I want to keep them. Okay, you can keep them. But I'm just saying, in terms of composition, honey, you got to realize that when you just add something at, just off the cuff, and it's not building cohesion, then there's a result of that. And the result is it feels kind of shattered and stuff like that. But you are up in the fun. Like if this was just, I don't know, something not very fun, I'd be like, okay, but somehow it makes sense. So it's almost like they're jumping off the page, or they're jumping for joy. I don't know, something. They're having a good time, that's for sure. And makes me want to go to Krispy Kreme. Can also too, dear, they'll watch when you take your picture, because we have this slice here that's kind of getting in the way. We also have a shadow shape. It's probably, I'm guessing it's your head or whatever, when you're taking the picture. So anyway, just be conscious of that, okay, in the future is when you submit things. But good job, Ms. Morales. All right, we're leaning into the fun. We're making progress. Okay, let's go ahead and look at Mr. Hurtado. Okay. Oh, he included a reference photo, he said, even though he drew it from life. Okay. Oh, so he's got, it's very elegant. It's like James Bond. We got black and black. Okay, so what do we know about this already? So already what I'm looking at, the cool thing like that catches my eye about this reference image is that, first of all, I hope none of this stuff is included in the background, right? I hope that, maybe he includes this right here. That's kind of a dynamic shape, so that could be cool. Maybe he, hold on. I know, don't you like how he's speculating about your choices, sir? Okay, or he could have just took this and just took the same thing and just extended all the way over here. Go ahead and erase that. Some other things that I'm noticing is, let's look once again, what do I always say? Where's the lightest light? Now, here's the thing. If I was him, here's what I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see, because this light back here, this strong light is beautiful. I'm like, I don't like the chair leg and all that. But what I'm hoping when I click over and I see that image is that he's kept this light and defined the edge of this whole scenario, something here, and kept that light. He could have kept it all the way across. You know what I mean? All this up here might be light. You know what I mean? Just a light tone, which is, I'm talking about something like this, quite light. And then it would also make sense, to have these light moments here. Then there's, to a lesser extent, little light moment here. Okay, so these are just my hopes and dreams that I'm telling you here that I'm hoping for. Another thing to remember is, it's tough when you're working with a tool like this where it really has to be straight. And we saw in a previous example where the handle didn't quite, it was like a little off as opposed to being straight. So I'm going to hope, that we have that. Also, one of the main things I want to say right now is I hope that we lose see how this edge is lost here? Woo, that's a beautiful thing. Actually, I have a better way of saying it. Hold on. Okay, so it's like all that. Now, this is kind of a lighter here just because of reflected light, but all this in here, when you really squint down, all this is dark. All this whole thing, with the exception of that little highlight, right? So all this, all that, all the way up to there. So that's like one shape. Okay, all this darkness right here. Okay, so let's see, have a look and see what he did. The drum roll. Oh, there it is. Okay, so one thing that's interesting is I think the angle of that of the tool is a little bit different. Okay, so see in this one, see how you kind of have an angle here, which I think creates dynamism, right? This is at an angle. In your actual image, though, we see that it is, whoops, sorry, wrong one. Then it's straight across. You see what I'm saying? So I'm talking right here. So already you've taken something that was kind of exciting, it had like an edge to it, and you've just turned it and corrected it, and so it's just kind of lying flat. So I mean that's okay. It just creates a different energy about it, and the fact that the other images seem like you made the cup rather small, right? So I would have preferred it to be actual size. So if this is a 9 by 12, sir, right? This whole thing is an 8 by 10 or 9 by 12. This cup is like mini, right? So that it doesn't quite make sense. And I'm thinking you probably could have got more detail had your composition. There's nothing wrong with the horizontal, of course, but if you were to cropped in like, oh hello, why can't I get this to work? Okay, like that, maybe something, you know what I mean, something like that, so that your cup would have taken up a lot more of your composition, because that's the start of the show, right? As it is now, the way you've done the cup, you've quieted it down. It's lonely. Like the other one was more dynamic. You remember what I said about having the light? I mean, look at this. You could have had a dynamic and could have built strength with that thing. Tools are strong, man. They help us get stuff done. And this almost, it doesn't have that vibe to it. But look how a lighter, if you would have gone super light, not white necessarily, but just to define that shape and even define the cup, just made that cup a little more exciting. You see what I'm saying? Like something like that. So yeah, kind of a little missed opportunity there. And as I said, so if you're working so tiny, that's going to be tough. Okay, so this is just a little bit, I mean, let's face it, it's easier to make something really tiny like that. Well, it creates challenge in other ways, but then, all this stuff, you can just do whatever, and you don't have to spend that time, with the way that it should have been, which is like way bigger. Okay, sir. So, just watch that for next time. Okay. You do have some nice moments in here. One of my favorite moments in this whole thing is, we just cut in on it because it's so small right here. This little, in particular, this little moment, boom. Okay, we get over here and you kind of get, you go up and down and it gets lost right here. This gets a little weak here, your ellipse. And this, I mean, this is a tool. This is mushy. Like you totally, it's just, it feels like it's made out of rubber. It doesn't have that metal, strong, that's what tools are. They have to be strong. So yeah, and I'm not even sure about this one. So if this is helping you so much, let's go back to the image and see if that was there or if that was just an added flourish. It's okay to add flourish. Yeah, see, that wasn't there, man. What are you doing? That's funny. So you added something there that's not there, right? That in terms of lighting wise, right? So you took liberties. I know it's hit or miss, and I tell you guys to be experimental and try to, say your own thing and do it in your own way. But I think this one probably wasn't one of your most successful, sir, to tell you the truth. It's okay. Okay. So you can resubmit for a better grade, but you're fine. You're in the B range, Okay. Let's see. Let's look at Miss Santos, Guadalupe. Hey, boy, that's sticking straight up. Boy, that's like salute. I see the stars and I see that thing going up. Like it reminds me of the flag, and it's sticking straight up. Okay, so this has a interesting thing going on here. So I think, though, dear, I don't see that you submitted the image with it. But I think we have a couple. It does have some personality to it, that's for sure. It's a little rough, it's stuff like this is tough, trying to get the grain of wood. And if you don't get it right, then what it ends up looking like is just a bunch of like, how do I put it? Just sort of random pieces of string. You know what I mean? Like sitting on top of a just plain table. So these aren't quite reading as wood grain, especially this one, right? I don't know if that's supposed to be the shadow or if that's like a wood grain mark or something. I don't know, but it just, I don't know that these are helping your composition hardly at all. Okay, dear. So, just something to think about next time. Now I will say this, you have it cut down almost the middle. You have this one that's pushed back, just leaving it all blank. And then you did take the time to put some kind of texture on the bottom portion, rectangle. So those are good choices, right? Those are good. Those are go-to things. You like something plain, something with texture. That's a good idea. The other thing, though, is that your ellipse is a little off. This almost starts right here, almost starts to feel like a candle top, dear. And you know why? Because you have this undulating kind of thing happening where it feels like it's melting, or, whereas, we would expect to see just that, just be really, really taut. And you know what I mean? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like yours is a little, so it's a little, hard to understand what it is. And in general, it's kind of a dark thing. And then also, yeah, the bottom, that's another thing too. So in terms of what's on the cup, it looks like you spent a lot of time doing it. I can't quite tell what this is, but it's almost like you spent more time in here, whatever this decoration on the cup is, than you did the cup itself. So, that's why I always say be cautious, because it would have maybe been better not to go with something black. And because what happens is, like, if you had a white cup and you had the light, let's say the light's coming from this direction, because that's what the background color is telling me, or tone rather. So we would expect to see lighter here. And then as we move around, it gets darker. Okay. The whole thing gets darker, including, let me just erase this really quick, including these little light moments you have here. So if this is the lighter on this side, right? Because it's a cylinder and it's turning away from the light. These are light, these are light, these little stars and whatever you got going on here. But as we turn and move into the shadow side, you've got to be consistent. There's no way that these light moments here, okay, can be the same as over here, because this light side going to dark. So even though these may be lighter than, what the black over here, they can't be as light as over here on the light side. Okay, that's just how we see. Okay, so there's a flatness kind of happening here because of it. And you're saying this whole thing is flat because you're treating these light moments up here the same as over here. So you're just saying the light is just, this thing is flat, as opposed to being a curved cylinder. Okay, so we didn't quite make that mark. However, this bottom portion feels pretty good, especially compared to the top. Your handle is nicely done. I'm believing that you've got some nice moments here where I'm believing that there's light being, kind of catching on the top here. I think this probably is a little bit too light as well. But anyway, committed. I'm getting this. It's committed. You're trying, and overall, you did a pretty good job. Good, good, good. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is Tamsin. Oh boy. Woo. Ah, man, what did I say about this magical? Look at this. This is wild. Look at that. It's like rusty and magical, like a universe right here. This is so wild right here. I don't know if that's the sheen, if that's the light reflecting on it, or if she took some little white moment. I can't even tell. I don't know. But this is just so nice. Look at the highlight on that. This is let me back up a little bit so we can see the whole thing. Yeah. Woo, the browns and the blues, ladies and gentlemen, AKA orange, a rusty orange. That's all a brown is. And she really, look how rich and colorful this seems, right? She's created a little bit of purple in there. She's definitely relying on the blue, and then knowing how to mix those neutrals in there. Very, very nice. But we don't see, like any like sharp reds in there. If you were to throw a red in there, like a pure red, like I'm talking like, and this is very, very warm, but like that kind of red, look at how that throws the whole thing off, right? So let me erase that. Ah, much better. Yes, an A for Miss Tavis, for Tamsin. This is awesome. These feel rusty, right? Woo, these have done some work. Look at the teeth on these things. Oh man, that is a really good job. And the cup itself, it almost looks like it's I don't know, it's definitely reflective, right? I get that. Although it's hard to know with you, dear, because you take, you create this really interesting texture on things. So I'm not sure if this actually is kind of reflective, or, I don't know, and glossy, or if that's just your, going to town in that. But really, really nice. Excellent job. A for you, dear, as if anybody needed to guess. Okay. Wow. Good job, you guys. This is so crazy. Hopefully you saw the other video, and you guys know that your next assignment is a freebie, right? You guys can paint what you want. And if you want questions, or you have questions you want me to respond to your image, like what you want to paint, let me know. But excellent job on the tool and mug. Woo! These are beautiful, you guys. Wow. I'm really excited to see what you guys do next. Hopefully you guys get the picture that, you know what I mean? You're getting better. Every assignment, whatever criticism I have for this one, it's just so you can apply that to the next one. That's all that is, okay? Just trying to help you be better. Trying to do my job. So good job, you guys. Stay safe. And if you have any questions, please let me know, and keep up the good work. And please, if you're not sure about your composition, email it to me and let me give you input. Okay, that's always the best route. All right. Okay, guys. Bye. Stay safe.